Imagine walking into a tattoo shop in Indiana in the 1980s. You pick out your design, the artist fires up the machine, and suddenly, everyone in the room could be technically breaking the law. That might sound unbelievable today, but for over 3 decades, tattooing was illegal in the Hoosier State. Not because tattoos were considered evil or the government hated bikers, and definitely not because someone got a regrettable tribal armband. Instead, the ban was rooted in one thing: fear of disease. Let's rewind time and go into the strangest chapters in tattoo history: the rise, fall, and eventually return of legal tattooing in Indiana. Long before Indiana even existed as a state, tattooing had been practiced around the world for thousands of years. By the late 1800s and early 1900s, tattooing had become increasingly popular in America, especially among sailors, soldiers, carnival workers, and traveling entertainers. Indiana wasn't isolated from these trends. Traveling tattoo artists occasionally worked fairs and carnivals throughout the Midwest, while military veterans returned home with tattoos earned during service overseas. But tattooing remained relatively uncommon and often carried a rough reputation. Many associated with criminals, outlaws, or people living outside conventional society. Everything changed during the middle of the 20th century. Medical science began learning about blood-borne illnesses. Do you know the one disease that absolutely terrified health officials? If you guessed hepatitis, you're correct. Unlike today, disposable needles and strict sterilization standards weren't universally used. Equipment was often reused. Sterilization practices varied dramatically from shop to shop. Health departments worried contaminated instruments could spread infection between customers. Throughout the United States, lawmakers began considering restrictions on tattooing. Some cities regulated it, others prohibited it entirely. Indiana chose one of the most aggressive approaches. In 1963, Indiana enacted a law effectively making tattooing illegal throughout the state. The reasoning centered on protecting public health and preventing the spread of hepatitis throughout improperly sterilized equipment. The law prohibited anyone from tattooing another person. Ironically, it wasn't illegal to have tattoos. It was the act of performing the tattoo that was outlawed. This created an unusual situation. People could cross state lines, get tattooed legally elsewhere, and then come home with fresh ink. Indiana couldn't stop that, but operating a tattoo business inside the borders became illegal. Almost overnight, legitimate tattoo shops disappeared, at least officially. As history repeatedly shows, banning something doesn't necessarily make it disappear. Instead, tattooing went underground. Some artists worked secretly from private homes. Others tattooed trusted clients through word of mouth. A few simply traveled between states where tattooing remained legal. Without regulation, however, customers often had no way to know whether equipment was properly sterilized or whether artists followed safe procedures. Ironically, critics argued that the ban actually increased health risk. Instead of encouraging licensed, inspected businesses, it pushed tattooing into hidden locations with little oversight. It's a bit like banning kitchens because someone once burned toast. While Indiana maintained its prohibition, tattoo culture across America transformed dramatically. During the 1970s and 80s, custom tattooing evolved into a respected art form. Artists developed unique styles. Conventions began attracting huge crowds. Celebrities, musicians, athletes, and actors proudly displayed their tattoos. By the 1990s, public opinion had shifted. People no longer viewed tattoos exclusively as symbols of rebellion. For many, they became deeply personal expressions of identity, memorials, artistic statements, or celebrations of family and culture. Indiana's law increasingly looked outdated. Residents questioned why neighboring states could regulate tattooing safely while Indiana banned it outright. Professional tattoo artists and supporters began lobbying lawmakers to modernize the law. Their argument wasn't simply, "We want tattoos." Instead, they focused on public safety. They argued licensed shops following sanitation rules would be safer than forcing customers into unregulated underground operations. Rather than pretending tattooing didn't exist, regulations could make it significantly safer. The debate gained momentum throughout the 1990s. Finally, after 34 years, Indiana repealed its statewide prohibition. In 1997, tattooing became legal again under new public health regulations. Instead of criminalizing artists, the state shifted towards sanitation requirements and oversight. County health departments gained authority to inspect facilities and enforce health standards. Tattoo studios could legally operate provided they complied with applicable regulations. For artists who spent years working in legal gray areas, it represented a monumental victory. For customers, it meant greater transparency and safer conditions. The legalization wasn't about banning health concerns. It was about recognizing advances in modern infection control. Disposable single-use needles became common. Autoclaves could sterilize reusable equipment. Universal precautions for blood-borne pathogens became standard. Gloves, disinfectants, and documented cleaning procedures greatly reduced risk. Rather than banning tattooing outright, lawmakers acknowledged the proper regulations was more effective. The philosophy shifted from prohibition to prevention. Today, Indiana has a thriving tattoo community. Cities like Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, South Bend, Evansville, and Bloomington are home to respected artists working in styles ranging from American traditional to Japanese, realism, black work, watercolor, fine line, and geometric designs. Professional studios typically follow strict sanitation procedures designed to protect both clients and artists. Tattooing has become mainstream. Doctors have tattoos, lawyers have tattoos, even teachers have tattoos, and your grandparents probably have tattoos as well. And yes, somewhere in Indiana, there's probably still someone explaining why they got a dolphin jumping over barbed wire in 1998. We salute their confidence. Indiana's tattoo ban highlights an important lesson. Sometimes laws created with good intention become outdated as technology and science improve. The original goal was protecting public health, but over time, experts increasingly believe regulations could accomplish that goal more effectively than prohibition. The state's experience mirrors broader changes across America, where tattooing evolved from fringe practice into a respected artistic profession. Today, millions of Americans proudly wear tattoos that commemorate loved ones, express creativity, or simply represent something meaningful. For Indiana, getting there required a 34-year detour through one of the country's most unusual tattoo laws. So the next time you walk into a clean, licensed tattoo studio in Indiana, remember, a few decades ago, that same business would have been illegal. The buzzing machines, the artwork on the wall, the artist behind the station, none of it could legally exist. Fortunately, history changed course, and today, instead of hiding in basements or back rooms, Indiana tattoo artists can practice their craft openly under health regulations designed to protect everyone involved.